Welcome to Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Araceli, and this is your co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando. Thank you for joining us tonight.
On this episode of Wrestling with Siblings, we're going to go through the WWE SummerSlam 2018 results, and we will also review Raw and SmackDown. We're only going to give you guys the results and our predictions for SummerSlam. Okay, let me start by the first match was Andrade and Selena versus Rusev and Lana. This was on the kickoff show. The winners were Andrade and Selena. I predicted, of course, Andrade and Selena were going to win. Armando chose Rusev and Lana.
The next match was B Team versus the Revival. We picked, I believe it was a Revival.
Yes. And the winners were the B Team. And then the next match after that was Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. And the winner was Seth Rollins. For this one, we picked Dolph, but Seth ended up winning.
The next match was New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. The winner was New Day. We predicted New Day, even though they did not win the titles because it was a disqualification. They still won the match, so we'll take it.
A win is a win, so we technically got that one. Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman for the Money in the Bank contract. Our prediction was Strowman. The winner was Strowman, so we got that one. Go ahead.
On to the next one. Carmella versus Becky versus Charlotte, SmackDown Live Women's title. The winner was Charlotte. Araceli had predicted Carmella. I personally had picked Becky Lynch.
Charlotte won. We'll get more into that later. Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. The winner was Samoa Joe via disqualification. And then our prediction was Samoa Joe again. He didn't win the championship, but a win is a win, so we'll take it.
The next one was, I believe, Miz versus Bryan.
Yeah.
Our prediction was obviously Miz. And Miz did win, which was a good match.
Then it was Corbin versus Finn Balor. For this one, there was a twist. The Demon King was the one that came out. But as we all know, Finn Balor plays the Demon King. So we chose Finn Balor as our prediction for winning this match.
Okay, moving on to our next match was Shinsuke versus Jeff for the U.S. title. We had predicted Shinsuke, and Shinsuke was the one that obviously won the match.
The next one was the main event for Raw for the women's. It was Ronda versus Alexa. The winner was Ronda, and we had predicted Ronda Rousey was going to win.
On to the main event. It was Roman versus Brock. The winner was Roman. We saw that coming. Our prediction was Roman.
So that's the SummerSlam results. We won't get much into detail because the majority of these matches already happened on Raw the following night. So we're just going to get into Raw right now. Obviously, this has been happening for like the last couple of weeks. Roman Reigns opens the show. You know, he says he's going to defend the championship. He's going to be a defending champion. And then Corbin comes out. He interrupts him. And he's like, oh, well, who said you're going to make this match official? Because Roman had said that he was going to have Finn Balor challenge him for the Universal Championship. And then Corbin is completely, like, not okay with that. And then Kurt is like, I still make the matches around here. And they had, like, a little type of segment. But the first match of the night was Constable Corbin versus Bobby Lashley. Kurt Angle was the one that ended up doing this match.
This match wasn't that great. It was a short match.
It was kind of boring. I'm pretty sure the crowd could have agreed with us since they were chanting boring throughout the match. I heard there was beach balls that came out. So this match, it could have gone other ways, but it wasn't the greatest.
Again, it was another opportunity to show how good Corbin was, but again, it was a short match. They should have gone a little bit longer with it.
Yeah, they should have, and like again, it's complicated because Lashley came back after being gone for so many like years, and now he's finally back, and it's like they don't even have a proper storyline with him right now. He was kind of just with the Elias, and now he's just kind of shifted
So then now with Corbin, as you guys know, Stephanie McMahon gave Kurt Angle a so-called vacation. So I'm guessing Constable Corbin is now the new general manager.
For now. Temporary.
Now. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if he's going to throw himself in matches or now he's going to actually run the show a lot better. Hopefully it does get a lot better with Finn Corbin. With Baron Corbin.
We've seen that match so many times that at this point, Finn and Corbin just goes together on a sentence. I'm looking forward to see where they decide to go with that. I mean, Stephanie and Triple H were at the show, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's get into something very interesting. Sasha and Bayley. They partnered with Ember Moon. This was a 6-on-6 women. No, what do you call a 6-women's tag match? There you go, 6-on-6 women's match. My bad. It's a 6-woman tag match. It was the Riot Squad versus Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Ember Moon. Again, 3 top talents. I mean, I should say 6 top talents because they're all really good. I mean, Riot carries the Riot Squad. And then you have like Ember Moon, Sasha, and Bayley who are top stars down in NXT.
Yeah, so you have the new generation of NXT of women that's coming up versus the Trailblazers of NXT, you could say. Against Sasha and Bayley. And again, Bayley and Sasha keep looking better and better every week. It's just their connection and chemistry is there.
Ruby Riott is going to be a big star. I see her going places, within the next couple of years, maybe within the next couple of months. She's really, I don't want to say she's the talented one out of everybody in the Riot Squad, but I want to say, she definitely is the leader, and she's the leader for a reason. She has the potential, she has the talent. She's done a great job in carrying them so far.
Well, yeah, I have to agree with you. She wouldn't be carrying the Riot Squad if she wasn't destined to do some great things in WWE.
And again, the Riot Squad did take the victory. Armando and I were saying it was numbers game. Again, they were able to outsmart their opponent team, which was Sasha, Bayley, and Ember Moon. They were able to outsmart them, I suppose.
I don't think it was a numbers game because
it was pretty even, yeah.
But I just think that they just worked a lot smarter.
They turned out to be the better team in this occasion. We'll just have to see where they decide to take them. We've seen this match for as long as I can remember now. But every time I feel like they brought something new to the table.
But now it's new because they added Ruby Riott. You gotta remember she was injured.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives it a little twist, which it's a lot better.
And remember, none of these women that were in this match had a SummerSlam match. So none of them were at SummerSlam.
That is true. They should have been at least in the kickoff show. I would have loved to seen what they could have done at SummerSlam.
At least, whether it was one-on-one or whether it was a tag match or whatever, it would have been great to have them. They were definitely missed, especially because Sasha and Bayley have some history in Brooklyn. So that just kind of sucks, but we'll see where they decide to go with that. Okay, let's get into... Okay, Triple H then comes out. We won't get much into what he said, but pretty much a rundown. He says that he's willing to take off his suit, lace up the boots, and get into the ring again with The Undertaker down at the Super Showdown.
I believe it's going to be in Australia, if I'm not mistaken.
In October. So that's interesting. That's going to be interesting to watch. This is going to be for sure the very, very last time. Again, I just want to say I want to give him my respects because he was talking about The Undertaker and how much that match meant to him and, how it changed wrestling to where it is today.
Yeah, I mean, it changed it just because it was the last, like they say, the last of their kind, the last of an era. And, I mean, if you really get to see those matches, you get to enjoy them. Not only because of Triple H and Undertaker, but because they were good. They were so good. I believe in the first match that Triple H Undertaker had, it was all Triple H. And even Undertaker has said that he still lives. That match still haunts him. And that's why he wanted to face him the second time. So I see this rivalry. It could just keep on going over and over and over. But it's down to his last chapter. I mean, I want the best for them. As much as I hate to see Triple H in a suit, I would still love to see him in the ring. Same thing with Undertaker. I don't know what you think about this.
I mean, I have to agree with that. They both have a lot of history together, and they've paved the way, man. They've done some amazing things. Undertaker, obviously, you know, he's at that point at the stage where eventually he's gonna retire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And right now, I feel like they're getting what they can out of him to still, you know, because he's one of those people, you bring him out, he's gonna sell. People would pay to go see him, even if it's for one last match, even if it's against, I don't know, somebody like James Ellsworth. People are still going to pay the money to go watch him, you know, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with that.
Yeah, that is correct. I have to agree. They did pave the way for all the superstars that are there, and you could tell that they respect each other, that they respect their careers. So We'll see. It's going to be a great match, you know, just to see how it goes.
Tune in for the WWE Super Show on the WWE Network in October. Of course, we will be covering that. Let's see. The next match was Dean versus Dolph Ziggler. It's Dean's first match back. He obviously became successful. He won. He was able to take him down. Obviously, with the help of Seth, who was ringside. I don't really think, like I said, if Seth wasn't ringside or if Dean wasn't ringside, they can't take him down just because it's the numbers game. Now it's even. You can tell that now that there's somebody in their corner, they can take on them now.
Yeah, well, obviously having the numbers game, you know, plays a huge difference whether someone's at ringside or in your corner, whatever you want to call it. But now that they're even, we could see Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose taking the advantage and beating them. So we'll see where it goes. Like I said, I would love to see this tag team feud against each other for a while. They got potential. The matches, Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler, were great. So now throwing Ambrose in there and throwing McIntyre, I just think it's great, and hopefully it keeps going for a little bit longer. Not too long, because like I said, they're going to have great matches. Just,
you know, it gets to that point where, like, we've seen it. You've been there, you've done that, and you just start to lose interest in the match, even though Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler have always brought something new, which makes it even more interesting.
And you could go so many ways with this match, too. But not with this match, with this feud.
Yeah,
There's so many twists and turns that you could do.
But who do you see Ziggler facing next for the Intercontinental Championship?
Ziggler?
I mean, Seth won it, so Seth.
You mean Seth,
yeah,
right?
Seth.
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know.
There's so many people right now.
Yeah.
That can go for it.
But see, you could see him. I really don't see him defending the Intercontinental title anytime soon. Just because Dean Ambrose is in his corner. You know?
He won't lose it anytime soon.
Well, yeah, he won't lose it.
Yeah.
He won't lose it. But I really don't see anybody else. Maybe I'll probably throw like a Kevin Owens there.
Possibly Finn, but
Finn,
other than that...
Maybe a Jinder, if anything.
But other than that, yeah. I don't really see... Maybe Bobby Roode, but other than that...
I would love to see Bobby Roode.
I mean, other than that, I don't see anybody else going for it other than those four that we just named.
We'll see what they come up with.
Okay, so Elias versus Kurt Hawkins. Well, I mean, Elias was again going to perform...
And was rudely interrupted.
Yes, by Kurt Hawkins, who said he was finally going to beat somebody, and that person that he was going to beat was Elias, and Elias didn't want to face him, and Kurt Hawkins pushes his buttons, and he's like, you know what, fine. Elias is like, fine, you know what, let's do this. And again, nothing new. Kurt Hawkins lost, Elias wins.
Not much to say about this match. It was short. Elias... I just love what they're doing with them. The way he's working the crowd. It's just everything about him. Great heel right now.
He's been great. He's been doing a fantastic job. I love his character. I mean, there's not much I can say other than what
his microphone skills are great too.
Yeah.
The way he interacts with the crowd and just makes you like him and hate him at the same time.
He's one of those people that you just can't hate. He's a heel that you can't hate. Kind of like the Miz type of thing where he's like a heel, but you can't hate him.
That's where I was going to. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, or what, like when Kevin Owens is a heel, you're like, damn, he's a heel. I'm supposed to hate him, but I can't because he's that good that you just can't hate him. Yeah. Just a few examples. That's how we feel about Elias. I'd like to see him in the championship picture at some point. Maybe not now, but I feel like right now is the time to do that. But for some reason, they haven't put the title on him. All right, let's go into the Authors of Pain, AOP, versus Titus Worldwide, which is Apollo and Titus.
Yeah, I mean, again, not much to say. It was like, 2-minute match?
Yep.
Just AOP's power is just unbelievable. I believe they're unstoppable. One thing I would like to say, and I've said it before, I would like to see them partner with somebody else. Maybe with Kevin Owens.
Maybe.
Or with Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman is what I was going to say.
Imagine if you have Braun Strowman with AOP. Just imagine the amount of power and carnage they'll be able to do. And if you throw Kevin Owens with AOP, which I would really, 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 really like to see, Kevin Owens will be the brains of the entire operation.
That's what AOP needs. They need a leader, a smart leader. And I'm not saying Braun isn't the leader that they're looking for, but when you really think about it, Kevin Owens was able to outsmart Braun Strowman his entire feud with him. So I feel like Kevin would be the perfect fit. But even then, the powerhouse that Strowman and AOP would make it an even more dominant team.
It would, but their weakness would be not having brains.
Exactly.
And with Kevin Owens, if he partners with AOP,
it's
he'll
perfect.
Strategize everything. He'll be the brains behind the entire thing, and that's what I would love to see.
And that's perfect. That's literally perfect because each trio needs their brains, and I will show you guys, and I will get into that later because it comes into play into the main event, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more towards the end. But let's get into. It wasn't really a match, I guess, but it was. Stephanie comes out. All the women are ringside, including the Bellas. They're all there. The championship is right in the middle. Stephanie comes out and she starts talking. You know, obviously she's promoting the WWE Evolution pay-per-view, which I hope they book correctly. They give them proper storylines. As of right now, the only match that is officially confirmed is Alexa versus Trish Stratus. I know there's been a lot of controversy because everybody wanted to see Sasha versus Trish, which I understand why. I mean, we saw a little tiny bit of it at the Rumble. But I think Alexa, as of right now, is the perfect fit for it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have other things planned for Sasha and Bayley at Evolution. So right now, I do see Alexa being the proper person.
Yeah, Alexa's just been great. I mean, her career so far has been very, very awesome. I mean, I would have loved to see, like you said, Trish and Sasha. But we'll see what happens. You know, I'm looking forward to Evolution.
There's still like another month and a half, so
yeah, there might be a lot of surprises. Like you said, it's something we must watch. You know, like I said, it's gonna make them or break them, and I think it's gonna make them.
Yeah, this is really, really big for the woman. Not only like how much they can sell, like the ticket sales, if they can sell at the entire show, but it's kind of like, and I know they're up there, but it all just depends on creative. They got to book them right. They got to give them the proper matches. Right now, I think the match that they've made is a really good one, and they're thinking of doing Ronda versus Nikki.
Yeah, because you have the new generation
going up against the old generation.
Like Trish Stratus, Lita. Imagine how they're all gonna Beth Phoenix. Imagine how they're all gonna feel if they get to participate at Evolution. Like and all the hard work that they did throughout their career has finally paid off.
But see, here's the thing. It would be ridiculous to not include them. Kind of like at the Rumble. If we were to have the Rumble without Maurice, without Trish, without Lita, without Beth Phoenix, without everybody else, you're kind of like, okay, well, the new women aren't just the ones that did all this. You know, we go way back. And, you know, like Stephanie said, Natty is one of the people that was pretty much one of the main people that started this revolution. She was there since the beginning. She kind of fits in between
new school and old school.
She kind of fits in between. She's kind of like, she was part of the Divas era, and then she's now part of the women's era. You know, she plays a huge part. She was a cornerstone. She also acknowledges how Sasha and Bayley had their Brooklyn match, and If it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't have the women's evolution. Now, of course, I'm not saying the rest of the women didn't play a role in it, but they were what kind of started this movement, and Stephanie acknowledges that. And then, obviously, Ronda comes out, and she puts her in the armbar.
Yeah.
And she literally... She was trying to break her arm, and it was honestly super hilarious to watch, because as I was watching it, I told Armando nobody helps her.
Which really caught my attention. Nobody goes up there and helps her out.
I know.
Which is... But then I get it why, because it's Ronda Rousey and they don't want to get destroyed by Ronda.
But then if you look at it, the heels were kind of like, okay, should I go help her? They were kind of contemplating if they should go help her or not, and then like they kind of just grabbed. I think they dragged her out of the ring or something. Yeah. And then like the faces just stood up with Ronda raising her hand. So it'll be interesting to see where they decide to go with this. All right, let's get into B-Team.
B-Team, go, go, go.
Armando is like...
I'm not a fan of them, but I just like their song. So.
He likes them, low-key.
Okay, yes, I do. Low-key, yes.
He doesn't consider himself a fan, but he likes them, which is good, because...
I just love what they've done with them. I think it's very creative. And honestly, when they broke away from The Miz, I didn't know where they were going to go and if they were going to win.
So the B-Team faced the Revival. I mean, again...
keep in mind they faced them in singles competition. They both of them lost, but that doesn't mean that as a tag team. That means that as a tag team, they're still
champions.
They're still champions and they're still undefeated. Because keep in mind it was singles competition. And
so far, I think they've done a great job at being champions.
Let's be honest, they've been getting lucky lately.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long.
I mean, they lost in singles competition. That goes to show something. I think this is the first time they lose, right?
Yeah. Obviously they've lost, and like I said, it's singles competition. But let's see how long their luck continues to go. The Revival be looking pretty strong.
I for sure see the Revival winning the championship sometime soon. Don't know when, but I do see them winning it. We saw what they were able to do down in NXT. Those guys, as they like to say, they are the top guys right now. And I think that's one of the strongest, well, actually the strongest, aside from AOP, they're one of the strongest teams that Raw has. They don't really have much tag teams. We'll add on to that again during the main event, because something really interesting ends up happening during the main event. And sure enough, the main event, which was Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns. And like halfway through this match, Braun Strowman comes out. And I'm not going to lie, this match, it was pretty good. The ending was phenomenal. I loved what they did with it.
Finn Balor finally got his opportunity. His rematch.
That he never
got from his injury.
And remember, he never lost it. He had to vacate it because he got injured and he was going to be gone for a certain amount of months. And so he never even got his rematch. So it was nice of Roman to actually, give him this. And as we've said before, we're not the biggest Roman fans. But I am happy that we're finally going to have a champion that's going to be there weekly defending the championship. And we're it brings like a whole new flow, I guess, to Raw. Like, it gives it a different... It just feels weird now because we actually have a champion that's there and you actually see the championship and it's actually getting defended.
And that, like you said, it's willing to defend the title. I think it's gonna work out great for Roman. I mean, the match, we saw Roman carry the match a little bit towards the beginning. At the end, it was Finn. That's kind of when it got a little bit more exciting.
And something interesting does happen. Like I said earlier, Braun Strowman ends up coming out. He's ready to cash in. He literally hands the briefcase to the ref, and he's like, I am cashing in. And I was so ready. It's happening. They're going to have Braun Strowman. He's winning the championship. And then, plot twist, what happens?
The Shield comes out and helps him out. So, I think two things. One thing that I kind of didn't like that Roman did was that he kind of handpicked his opponent. if he's going to handpick his opponents throughout defending the Universal Champion,
he's never going to lose it.
He's never going to lose it.
What?
And another factor is, he's got the Shield on his side now. So the Shield is going to do anything
to protect him.
So expect a long title range from
Roman Reigns.
And again, this is where I would like to see AOP and Braun Strowman and maybe Kevin Owens go out for that title. Because that's the only group of individuals that I see taking out the Shield.
Yeah, because if you really think about it, who else is going to go up against them? They have nobody else. The only people they have that can match their level as of right now is AOP with somebody else, whether it be Strowman or the Brains Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
That's the only tag team that can take them out as of right now. And to be completely honest with you, the Shield is going to completely dominate Raw. They are going to take over. Nobody's going to be able to stop them. I mean, Roman, as Armando said, he's not going to lose the championship anytime soon. They have the Shield by his side. And of course, it's one of those things where the cheering for Roman starts now. As we know, everybody always cheers for him when he's part of the Shield. I love the Shield. I want to see what they do with them. But as of right now, I don't see Roman losing it anytime soon.
Yeah, I think we both agree on that, and we'll see what happens with the Shield. I'm happy they're back, because so far they've been, when they're together, they're the most dominant team. We've seen the most dominant trio.
And we see they get along super, super well. It's not like they're having fights and stuff. And from what I've noticed, they come together when they need to be together. It's usually when somebody has to go up against the numbers game and the other Shield members come out, So Roman Reigns as champion is going to be very, very interesting. Again, he finally captured the championship he is chasing for so long. He finally has it.
And now he has to prove himself. He did the biggest step of... he won the biggest match in his career, I'm sorry. Now, he's just got to continue to prove himself.
This is it.
Develop every week.
This is it. This is either makes him or breaks him. And hopefully, he's not in the situation he is now. So, we'll see where they decide to go with that. That's all we have for Raw. So now let's get into SmackDown, the A show. I like to call it the A show because...
It really is. If you really look at the matches, the way...
The quality.
They're taking all the feuds, the twists and turns. Like Araceli said, the quality is just there.
And this feud right here just keeps getting better and better and better. There's this is... Well, actually, I can't even say this is a feud because right now SmackDown has a lot of feuds that are the feuds. But obviously, The Miz and Maurice come out first. They start off the show. This is their show, so they start it off, And then, Miz kind of mocks Bryan's retirement speech. And then I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Then Bryan comes out. And then Maurice calls him Daniel Bella. That pisses him off.
We thought it was pretty funny.
I thought it was funny, though,
and
because...
we know why. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys know why, too.
And then, the unexpected happened. Actually, no, I expected it the moment I saw Maurice and the moment Bryan was by himself. It's kind of another John Cena and Nikki Bella feud against, Miz and Maurice. Brie Bella makes her in-ring return.
Which, she returns. Which, feud do you think it's going to be better? The Miz versus John Cena and Nikki, or The Miz and Maurice versus Daniel Bryan and Brie?
So, as much as I love Nikki and John, I have to say Miz and Bryan is going to be the feud to take it. Why? It's been 8 years in the making, and yes, the Nikki and John one has been too, just because Maurice and Nikki go way back. We know the drama that they've had before, but I feel like this is the feud. It's going to be better than what last year's feud was.
Yes, I agree. It's going to be better, but for one thing only, and one reason, and that's because it's personal. It's personal between them. So it's not like you said, it's just a feud. This is actually, personal. Like you could tell that none of them like each other.
And... when Brie came out, she started punching the living hell out of The Miz. Then Paige confirms this match. Well, Brian tells Miz that at Hell in a Cell, it will be Miz and Maurice versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Again, Brie Bella returns. She's making her in-ring return. We don't know if it's just going to be like one-time thing, Evolution, one-time thing, and then that's it. Or if, they're back full-time. We're still waiting for Nikki's return, but, we'll wait on that. I'm looking forward to this feud. Like you said, it has gotten personal. It's at that level now where you can feel the intensity of the feud, where you're just like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? And keep in mind, The Miz is very, very creative. So I can expect the next month of them feuding to be something extraordinary.
That is correct.
And he always has something up his sleeve. So we'll just have to wait and see, what ends up happening with this feud. The first match of the night was Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. Again, I was going to say this is the match, but they both delivered. And, there's a lot to say. Right now, Randy is the heel. We've seen Randy kind of dominate this feud since the beginning, but Jeff is now starting to pull into it. He Swanton bombed him, from the top of the, of the thingy up until the table. Yeah. I thought he almost broke him.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Jeff Hardy got disqualified, so he finally let all the anger out on Randy Orton.
Yeah, because Randy, he's the heel, and he, humiliated him. He tried to erase Jeff Hardy's identity and all this stuff. And as you said, he had all this frustration build up inside of him that he finally was able to, release it. And Jeff Hardy went off.
Yeah.
He completely dominated Randy Orton.
All the weeks of frustration finally came out. And don't be surprised if we see Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell. Which it should be an epic match, and I believe it's going to be a brutal match. These guys are just going to tear each other apart.
And again, another feud that SmackDown has that's worth watching. Yeah. We're into the first match and the second feud of the night, and it's like...
It's a must-watch.
It's a must-watch. You just can't miss SmackDown, because it's like they're delivering. The talent is unbelievable as of right now.
And we're seeing sides of Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, so the heel side of Randy, which he hasn't been in a really long time. The Viper, the Legend Killer, he's out to strike. He's out to hurt Jeff Hardy. I think he's...
And Jeff Hardy's going to defend himself, don't...
Oh, yeah.
He's that if you mess with him...
he'll get you back, eventually.
Get you back, and he proved it this week.
And going forward, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week, and if they're going to have a match at Hell in a Cell. The next match after this was Naomi versus Peyton Royce. Naomi, we haven't seen her in a couple of weeks on TV. She's finally back. It's very, very interesting. I wonder what she's been doing. I know she's been working some of the dark matches. She's super athletic, super talented, a lot of potential.
Yeah, and it sucks that we haven't seen her have a huge push since, I believe, WrestleMania, the Women's Battle Royal, if I'm not mistaken.
Where she screwed Bayley over.
Bayley should have won that match.
We'll put this in another video, but oh my God, the reaction that Armando and I had when Bayley, as many of you know, Armando and I are from San Jose. So when we saw she was the last one, we were like, no way, she's going to win this. She's finally going to win something important. And then here comes Naomi and eliminates her. Oh my God, you guys don't know how mad I was.
We got played.
We did, but we'll put that on another video. Naomi. I want to see more of her. I want to see, obviously we know what she can do. There's not much you can say on her. We know what she can do. She's been champion. She's carried the division on her back on her own. She had a pretty decent match with Peyton. Peyton finally won something. I think this is the first match she wins since her debut.
I believe so.
I think so.
We may be wrong.
We may be wrong. Correct us if we are. I mean, we'll take the criticism for it. But I'm pretty sure this is the first match she wins since coming back.
Another thing too, piggybacking on Naomi, she's like super athletic. She kind of reminds us of Kofi. Always brings something new to the table.
And she's not afraid to take, like, those risks. She's willing to go above and beyond. She's willing to deliver. She's willing to put herself out there. Like Kofi, like, we kind of compared her to Kofi. I know you guys may be like, oh, there's kind of differences. But if you've noticed at the Royal Rumble, this year's Royal Rumble, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, she got eliminated, and then, like, she landed on the barricade and some way, somehow crawled, walked her way to the chair, and then from there crawled. Again, the creativity. Who does that on the Rumbles? Kofi Kingston. So I think the comparison is pretty even. It's pretty fair.
Yeah, athletic-wise. Not career-wise, but just athletic-wise. Yeah. Everything that they do, it's pretty much similar.
She's up there with one of the top stars. The Iconics, they work very well together. I want to see more of them. I want to see them showcase a lot more. Hopefully they get a good match down at Evolution. I would have loved to see the Bellas versus the Iconic or Trish and Lita versus the Iconics. But we'll wait and see how that plays out.
Yeah, so, like, I would like to see them in a more relevant storyline. Maybe even, who else? Like you said, with the
Bellas, or, like, Trish and Lita. It's the passing of the torch, you know. Obviously, they're the next women's tag team that's taking it to another level.
Another thing that I like about them is they know how to get in their opponent's head. I mean, we see it each and every single week. They manage to get in their opponent's head, and that's a huge factor to coming out victorious.
That really elevates them, and again, they've kind of just been picking fights with everybody. They're just like, all right, well, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to fight you. Again, they first started off with Carmella, and then, you know, like Becky, Charlotte, and all that stuff. They're just picking fights right now with the entire roster.
So out of Peyton and Billie Kay, which one of them has more potential?
And no offense to the other one. Of course, they're both super talented. We've seen what they both can do. But I say Peyton as of right now. She's up there. You?
I would have to agree with you.
Okay, moving on from them. Another women's match. Well, we get like 3 women's matches in a row, which is pretty interesting. Becky Lynch comes out. She addresses the WWE Universe about her heel turn and why she turned on Charlotte at SummerSlam when she won the championship. I mean,
we saw this coming. I personally saw this coming.
It wasn't a surprise.
I don't know if you guys did, but you got to be in Becky Lynch's shoes. I mean, she's been fighting so hard since the beginning. She went through the entire roster to earn that title shot, and here comes Charlotte. But don't get me wrong, she is amazing what she does in the ring. But how would you feel if you worked your butt off to be where you're at, and your best friend comes over and just gets thrown into that match?
I mean, well, obviously, like, you can't even put me in that situation, because it's like, well, 1, I'm not a wrestler, but 2, it's kind of like,
I mean, it's just
no, I know what you're saying, but it's kind of like, I feel like everybody here agrees. Charlotte came in, she won the opportunity, she won the match. That's ridiculous. Like, Becky earned this opportunity, and this was honestly her match. And deep down, I knew for a fact that, like, if Carmella didn't win it, it was going to be Becky. I was super certain of it. You know, obviously I didn't predict that. I predicted Carmella was going to win. Armando went with Becky Lynch. But it wasn't a surprise that she turned on Charlotte. It really wasn't. I saw it coming. And, you know, she's been right. She's super athletic. She's always getting, I don't want to say mistreated, but she's always that one
she's
where,
always
like,
been under Charlotte's shadow since the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though she was the first ever women's SmackDown champion.
But like she said, everybody always saw her as Charlotte's friend. And it's kind of like, okay, she had this vision of, like, I'm going to beat her. And then Charlotte is just like, you know what, I'm taking all of that by beating her.
Yeah. It's like taking a dream, or it's like I said, taking your dream and everything you worked for. I don't know. If I were in her shoes, I probably would have done the same thing. Because, like I said, she's living in Charlotte's shadow, and she feels that she's better than Charlotte, and that she's, how could I say, that she's not getting the opportunities
that she deserves. I feel like we can both agree on that. I mean, Charlotte then decides to come out, and see, this is, again, we're into the third match, and again, this is another one of those feuds that is must watch. You have to see it, and I will tell you why right now. Charlotte comes out, Becky is there, and then Charlotte walks up to the ring. You know, she drops the title, and she's like, I'm coming, and then she comes up to the ring, and then they just start going at it. It got to the point where Paige had to send the entire women's locker room to separate them.
Now that was awesome.
See, why can't we get these feuds every day? Now, obviously, it would get boring to see the same thing over and over, but at this point, it's like, this has been years in the making, pretty much, because it's like, they both started down in NXT. They're both part of the Four Horsewomen. The opportunities that Charlotte has gotten aren't the same that Becky has gotten. You know, and athletic-wise, yeah, Charlotte's up there. She's proven herself. But it's time for other women, man. It's like, you've already tied the greatest women's wrestler of all time. She's already tied Trish.
Yeah.
What else is there for her to prove? I mean,
I don't think she has to prove anything. It's just that Charlotte has always been thrown in all the historic matches that the women have had. You know, and I feel that that's kind of where Becky kind of gets... I'm not saying jealous of her, but she's just...
It gets under her skin because it's like, I've worked probably just as hard as she has or harder, and I don't get the same opportunities.
Yeah. Because, I mean, even though Charlotte is athletic, you still got to admit that the name has to play a factor on it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're born into the wrestling business, you're going to get favoritism. Look at Randy. Look at, Charlotte.
Everybody else.
Roman. Everybody else. But I feel like, yeah, she has proven herself. She's proven she's good, that she belongs in this women's division. I just feel like it's time to step away from her. Let her do her own thing. Let her put over other talent.
Yeah.
She can do that. She can elevate somebody's career, man.
It doesn't have to necessarily be about Charlotte all the time. I feel that if they keep pushing Charlotte the way they are, she's just going to end up burying most of the roster, which I don't want to see.
No, because there's so much potential, Put her up against Peyton. Put her up against Billie Kay. Put her up against the new up-and-coming talent. Yeah. There's so much she could do. It's kind of like AJ. If you put AJ with anybody, they're going to have a good match. Yeah. Do the same thing with Charlotte. Take advantage of that.
And why not give the opportunity to other women to be champions? It's just, Charlotte's already been up there. She's lived it. She's done all the historic matches. Why can't other women do that?
Now, I'm not saying don't ever give her another championship title reign.
We're not saying that.
But right now, it's time for her to step down and let people do their thing. Let Becky go for it. Let Carmella already won it, but let Asuka go for it. Let the Iconics go for them. Naomi. There's so many other women. But hey, we didn't see Carmella this week. I'm kind of worried, to be honest. Let's see what they decide to do with him. Next week on SmackDown, Carmella is invoking her rematch clause. So it's going to be very interesting to see where that match goes. Stay tuned. We'll bring you the coverage after the show. Again, more of the women. We get to see Almas and Selena versus Rusev and Lana. Now, obviously, Selena and Andrade became victorious at SummerSlam. They beat them again for, the fourth time?
I believe it was the fourth time that they have faced each other, and they've won 3. This last one...
No, this is the 5th one, right? Because they faced... Yeah. Because it was Andrade versus Rusev, and then it was Lana versus Selena, and then Lana versus Selena, and then it was a mixed tag. So that's 4. And then this one was the 5th one, which Lana and Rusev took home with the help of Aiden English.
Finally, he gets a good assist.
Finally.
Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty much screwing them over when he tries to assist them, but...
This time he was successful. I believe Almas had a chair in his hands, And then that's when Aiden English comes out and he just stops him from doing whatever it is that he was doing. He cost Almas and Selena the match. Do you see the end of this feud already, or do you think there's another stage to it?
I don't see the end of it. I believe there might be another stage to it. I would like to see more. I mean, like, when it's mixed tag match or mixed matches, you could do so much, so many chances. Like, we've seen, Andrade versus Rusev maybe one time? And that was in singles?
It was Andrade versus Rusev, and then we had Lana and Selena twice. So that puts you at 3, and then we had the mixed tag match, which is 4, and then again the mixed tag match. In each match, if you look at each of those matches, they were all different.
Yeah.
None of them were exactly the same.
And now that Aiden English got the assist, possibly Almas may feud with
Aiden English.
With Aiden English, just because he screwed him over in the match.
Even though Selena did say she's looking for something bigger for Almas, they're planning on moving upwards, maybe a championship opportunity, which I feel right now it's good, but I say they don't rush it and give him the WWE one.
Correct. It's not time yet.
Not for that one, no.
Not for that one. I would like to see him start off maybe by winning the, let's say, U.S. Championship.
Yeah, because that's like, he'd do so well with it. He could carry it, and then from there we could see, all right, he's ready.
We'll see if he's got potential to actually carry the brand. I know he did in NXT, and he did a fabulous job, and especially with Selena Vega on its side.
So we'll see where that ends up going. Again, when they come out, it's a 10. They always deliver. They always give a good match. There's nothing negative to say about it. I mean, Rusev and Lana are really good as well. They get along super well, just like Selena and Andrade.
Yeah.
They are married, so that kind of plays a factor into,
Another thing about Lana, she's, like we said before, her ring skills have been improving, but she still kind of looks a little rough, kind of like she was rusty. Like if she really hasn't had that, what do you call it? That entire,
the experience? What are you talking about, Lana?
Lana.
Yeah. I mean, I knew she was doing training down at NXT. She was doing live events, and then she was working the main roster as well. Again, we're not saying she's the worst wrestler ever. We're just saying, she could use the practice, and I feel like putting her on, just live events or like the main show is really going to help her. I will sit through a 4 or 5 minute match with Lana.
Yeah,
to see the improvement, because I have seen her improve.
She just, like we said, she just needs more
exposure,
more ring experience, pretty much,
and more exposure too to like in-ring competition. You know what I mean? But I do think she'll get.
One of the things, seeing Andrade, that I would have loved to see in this era, I would have loved to see would have been Eddie Guerrero versus Andrade. I think that would have been
a killer feud.
Would have been the best feud ever, just because of their careers were pretty much similar. How they all came from Japan, and they all have that lucha libre background, and they come from
Latinos.
Not Latinos, but coming from wrestling families and being second and third generation superstars.
And they're both pretty big. Like, Almas is barely starting, but you can tell he's going to be a big star. It's noticeable. You can see it, and I can tell you this now. He's going to be a big star.
Yeah.
And Andrade does have Selena, but hey, Eddie could have gotten somebody like Sasha.
Yeah.
And think about it. That would have been a hell of a feud.
Yeah.
With who Sasha is, with who Eddie is, with who Andrade and Selena are. It's like, oh my God, this feud would have been killer. But, unfortunately, due to circumstances, it won't happen.
And like I said, I'm just throwing it out there. That's something I would have loved to see. But, again, moving on.
All right. AJ Styles, the WWE champion, he comes out. He's getting interviewed by Renee Young. She's asking him, how do you feel about the outcome of the match? And yada, 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 yada. We'll skip that entire part. Turns out Samoa Joe comes out, and she just puts him in the sleeper hold, and he just knocks him out completely. Again, AJ Styles, something we don't usually see of him. He let his emotions get the best of him at SummerSlam. Again, Samoa Joe did cross the line. He really did go too far. I don't blame him for lashing out the way that he did, but it's something that you don't usually see on AJ Styles. He doesn't usually get himself disqualified and just completely blow up. It's just something he doesn't do. He's usually used to winning the right way.
And like you said, Samoa Joe just got to his head. Making
it personal.
It personal again and just forcing AJ to snap. And I think that's going to be the key in this feud if Samoa Joe really wants to become the WWE champion. Get in AJ Styles' head, because we've seen that he already got in his head and threw him off his...
He threw him off his game completely.
Yeah. So that's maybe just a strategy that he has that's gonna help him win the title.
And I mean, no, let's be honest here. No man likes it when you mess with their family. So he took it too far, but I understand. It's part of his, he's getting in his head. He's setting himself up to win that championship, and he knows that's how he's going to do it. That's how he's going to dethrone AJ Styles.
Well, yeah, because, these guys know each other so well.
Yeah,
they had to find a weakness, and he knows that AJ Styles' weakness is his family, because he's a family man. And if he gets in his and if he gets into, like I said, AJ Styles' head.
And so far, he's been doing that. We saw that at SummerSlam again, like I said. He snapped. He completely snapped. He hit him with the chairs. He got busted open. It was crazy. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It was definitely one of the best matches of SummerSlam. Again, another feud that you must watch. We're literally almost done with this entire show, and I've literally told you guys that it's a must-watch for pretty much all the feuds that we've had so far in SmackDown. That is how you book a show. Correct.
Now, I believe the main event was the New Day versus
Bludgeon Brothers.
Again, the New Day, they ended up winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles. That makes them 5-time Tag Team Champions. Let's see if they would be able to catch up to the Dudleys.
Again, we saw this coming, not only because A New Day was getting a massive push, but because Rowan and Harper, I believe Rowan is the one that's injured, so obviously he was going to have to drop the titles. But let's be honest here, the New Day have had the greatest matches as of late. So yeah, they do deserve to be champions. I feel like they're going to carry the division and put it on a level where it hasn't been since the Usos dropped the championship.
That is correct. And again, the Bludgeon Brothers really didn't show much. Their matches weren't that great. And I felt it was just time for the New Day. They deserved it. They had the match of the night.
Again, for the
second or third week
Third week in a row, yep.
Again, these guys have been turning it up. They deserve it. Let's see who they face next.
Probably the Bar. You can tell the Bar is kind of hungry for the titles.
Don't forget about
Sanity,
and I also would like to see Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows in there.
Yeah. So they got options, They can put them against so many different people. They actually have options on, Raw.
The Usos might be another possibility, even though we haven't seen them as much. Like I said, I think we haven't seen a lot of these tag teams just because they're so stacked. And they can do so much with all the tag teams. So
it's going to be very interesting. We know we don't have to worry. The tag team division is in good hands. The New Day, for sure, they can deliver. They can carry the division on their own. It's just a matter of who they're feuding with next and what they're willing to do to retain the championships.
And keep in mind that Big E did not come out, which I thought was pretty impressive, that Xavier Woods and
Kofi were able to dethrone, the Bludgeon Brothers.
And again, this was the numbers game. I believe he came out towards
the end, to celebrate.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. The New Day, happy for them.
All right, I think that's all we have for you guys. Again, thank you for joining us on another episode of Wrestling with Siblings. Join us next week. I'm your host, Araceli.
And I'm Armando. Thank you so much for all the support and love. Stay tuned for all the future podcasts.
And we'll see you guys next week, and we'll have more coverage on next week's SmackDown and Raw, and then we'll be bringing you guys the pay-per-view stuff as well. So again, thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Share this with everybody. Let them know who we are, because, WWS is going to start taking over. And if you don't know what that stands for, Armando, would you do the honors and tell them what that stands for?
Wrestling with Siblings.